Imagine waking up one morning and realizing the world is no longer the one you knew. Your phone has signal, but your messages won't send. Your banking app opens, but nothing works. Every news channel is saying something different. In some countries, the power is out. In major cities, airspace has been shut down. The internet still seems to exist, but in reality, the world is slowly going blind. At first, people think it is just a temporary crisis. But then a far more terrifying truth begins to emerge. This could be the first morning of World War III. And the most frightening part is this. A war like this would not begin the way people imagine. Not with tanks crossing borders. Not with a single explosion lighting up the sky. The first attack would not happen in the streets. It would happen on screens. Cyberattacks would take down communication networks. Power grids would be targeted. Data centers would go silent. Financial systems would freeze. The systems that keep modern civilization running would begin to fail one by one. And in that moment, the most terrifying question in the world would rise into the air. If World War III really began, who would win? Before we go deeper, if you enjoy videos that explore dark historical and geopolitical scenarios like this one, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps, and it tells me you want more content like this. Would it be the country with the biggest army? The country with the most money? The country with the most advanced technology? Or the country that can survive the longest? Because modern war is no longer decided by soldiers alone. Today, war is decided by production, logistics, energy, intelligence, cyber power, and alliances. The battlefield is no longer just land. It is also cyberspace, sea routes, airspace, satellites, communication systems, and global supply chains. In a conflict on this scale, striking first is important, but lasting longer may matter even more. At first, the side that launches the opening attacks might look unstoppable. Surprise always looks powerful. A wave of cyber attacks, blackouts, financial panic, and sudden missile strikes could make the entire world believe that one side already has the upper hand. Entire populations could panic before armies even fully mobilize. But history teaches us something important. The side that shocks the world first is not always the side that wins in the end. Because after the first wave of destruction, the real war begins. And the real war is about endurance. Who can keep producing weapons after months of fighting? Who can keep oil moving? Who can keep ports open? Who can replace destroyed aircraft, damaged ships, and lost equipment? Who still has stable supply lines? Who can coordinate with allies across continents? Who can protect not only soldiers, but the economic machine behind them? This is why alliances matter so much. A country may look powerful on its own, but a global war is not fought by nations in isolation. It is fought by blocks. On one side, you would likely have the United States and a NATO-centered alliance, backed by enormous industrial capacity, naval reach, advanced air power, intelligence networks, and strategic coordination across multiple countries. On the other side, you could see a rival axis built around major powers like China and Russia, with their own regional influence, military strength, and strategic depth. And this is where the balance starts to change. In the early phase of war, rapid offensive action could create the image of dominance. But if the war turns into a long conventional struggle, then the question becomes much bigger than who fired first. It becomes a question of which side can absorb damage and still keep functioning. That is why economics may be just as important as missiles. Wars are not won only by what nations already have stored in bunkers and military bases. Wars are won by what they can still build after 6 months, after a year, after huge losses. Can factories keep running? Can the economy survive? Can fuel, food, ammunition, and machine parts keep moving across land and sea? Can governments continue to finance the war without collapsing internally? That is the side of warfare that people rarely think about. But it may be the most decisive part of all. And in that kind of long war, many analysts believe that the advantage would likely shift toward the side with the strongest alliance system. the deepest economy, and the largest logistical network. In other words, if World War III remained conventional, and if it turned into a long war of attrition, the most likely advantage would belong to the United States and its allies.
World War III would not be won by the country with the biggest army, but by the side with the strongest industry, economy, logistics, and alliances. In a long conventional war, that advantage would likely belong to the United States and NATO, but once nuclear weapons are used, the meaning of victory disappears. Cities could vanish, economies could collapse, and humanity would face fear, destruction, and irreversible loss. In nuclear war, no one truly wins at all. Humanity loses everything.